Good morning, students. Myself, Nahum Kurapati Chanu, MSc Nursing first year, Department of Community Health Nursing. Today, we'll be discussing one interesting topic. I hope you all will find it interesting with this topic. To begin with the topic, I'll be showing one short video. So, please, all the students watch it and observe carefully so that you all can get the idea and depicts what the topic for today's class will be. I hope you all will get it. So I will start showing. Please be attentive and watch the video carefully. This is the video. Now you all have seen the video, so I'll be showing one more scenario. From this video and the scenario, you can get some idea about the today's class. Now the next scenario is Mr. Pandiraj, who is 19-year-old student and who has been persistently feeling difficulty in sleeping, frequent wake up at night in an inappropriate time for 2 weeks, and he has been feeling unusually sad, always expressed that he is rejected by everyone and helpless. He can't keep his mind on his studies, and even day-to-day life seems too much for him. So from this scenario, what is your opinion or idea about Mr. Pandiraj? Is anything wrong with Mr. Pandiraj? If you find it anything wrong, you can list it down and you can submit to me, listing all the abnormalities you have found. From these two scenarios, that is the video and the scenario presented, it is confirmed that they have some problems related to mental, that is the mental health problem. So we will be seeing in brief about the mental health. Mental health. There is no health without mental health. So it is very important that we have to keep our mental healthy. From this, it is suggested that it is something related to mental health. There is no health without mental health. The sentence itself says that mental health is very important and we need to be very careful about our mental health. We have to keep ourselves mentally healthy. The World Health Organization (WHO) defines health as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. Mental health is described by WHO as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes. Mental health is described by World Health Organization as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope up with the normal stress of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Jahoda 1958 elaborated on this by separating mental health into three domains. Mental health is separated into three domains by Jahoda in 1958. The first one is the mental health. It involves self-realization in that individuals are allowed to fully exploit their potential. Second one is the mental health includes a sense of mastery by the individual over the environment. And thirdly, And thirdly, positive mental health, which means autonomy as in individuals having the ability to identify, confront and solve problems. Mental health is the foundation Mental health is the foundation for well-being and effective functioning for an individual and for a community. The promoting mental health, it should not only result in the first is lowering the rate of mental disorder, improve physical health, better educational performance, but also the greater productivity of workers, and there is improved relationship with the families and safer communities. Within the families, it will bring improved relationship and it leads to safer communities. Mental health problems also result in a variety of other causes to the society according to the World Health Organization 2003. Next, I'll be showing some videos one by one. So from this, you have to significantly identify the exact scenario, the exact symptoms they are showing. That is the first one. We'll see the second one. Third one. The fourth one. I hope you all have seen this short video. Can you guess from this video what they are having, what their problems are? See, the first one is having disturbed sleep. She can't sleep nicely. And the second one, and from the second one we know he is always lethargic, always sleeping. And next is from the third one we have seen the lady is having persistently depressed mood. She is always feeling low, she is always crying. And the fourth video, it shows that why I am like this, what's wrong with me, what happened to me like this. These are the problems that the videos have depicted. So what are the mental disorders, main mental disorders related with this, we will identify. From the 4 videos, it is observed that the mental health problem they are facing is rather than the depression. Depression was the 4th largest contributor to disease burden in 1990 and is expected to be the 2nd largest after ischemic heart disease by 2010 according to WHO 2011. Depression. What is depression? Depression is a word used in everyday language to describe a number of feelings, including sadness, frustration, disappointment, and sometimes lethargy. It is very common, highly treatable medical illness affects the physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It affects the basic everyday life activities, eating and sleeping. Depression mainly presents with multiple persistent physical conditions with no clear cause, low energy, fatigue and sleep problems, persistent sadness or depressed mood and anxiety, loss of interest in activities that are normal and pleasurable, significant change in appetite or weight gain or weight loss, beliefs of worthlessness. Excessive guilt, indecisiveness, restlessness or agitation, hopelessness, suicidal thoughts and acts. Depression, it results from a combination of biological, psychological and social factors which significantly impact on a person's ability to function in daily life. As we have discussed the common presentations, I think it will be helpful for you to recognize the symptoms. The same case that we have already discussed, that is the case of Mr. Pandiraj, is again showing here. I think here you can now easily identify the symptoms or the common presentations of what the person has. And the Mr. Pandiraj is a 19 years old student who has been persistently feeling difficulty in sleep, frequent wake up at night in an inappropriate time for 2 weeks. He has been feeling unusually sad always and expressed that he is rejected by everyone and helpless. He can't even keep his mind on his studies and even day-to-day tasks seem too much for him. So from this, you see, is everything fine with Pandiraj? If not, what would you say is wrong with him, with Mr. Pandiraj? What is wrong? So please kindly list it out and think the symptoms or the common presentations present in the Mr. Pandiraj. Okay, I hope you all got some idea about the common presentations. We'll come in detail about the signs and symptoms of depression. The signs and symptoms of depression. It includes, the first one is, I think you all can see this. First is the persistent feeling of sadness. Second is loss of interest in activities, and the third one is trouble sleeping or oversleeping. I have shown in the video that one is sleeping continuously, oversleeping and trouble sleeping. Then lady can't sleep, she is turning left side, right side, side lying. Even though if you want to sleep also, she can't sleep. Or in oversleeping, always she is inactive, she don't want to involve in any activities, so the option is she will always lie in the bed. That is oversleeping. I think I have already shown it. Persistent feeling of sadness also we have seen in the video, and she won't have interest in doing any activities. The daily living activities also she won't fulfill it, she won't do it nicely. The next, we'll see the next. Appetite or weight change, fatigue or decreased energy, difficulty thinking clearly or quickly. Okay, I'll repeat this. That is, first is appetite or weight changes, fatigue or decreased energy, difficulty thinking clearly or quickly. As the person loses interest in everything, he or she might have also loses interest in eating. Even the food she like also, this time during this depression, when she is in this state, he or she won't have the feeling to eat, and always time she will be experiencing fatigue, decreased energy, and difficulty thinking clearly or quickly. He or she can't take any decision quickly. He will always have confusion, and like I have shown in the video that why this happened to me, why everything like this, I am helpless, I am worthless, that feeling will come. So she can't think anything positively and can't take decision quickly. And the next symptoms include irritability, frustration, pessimism, physical ache and pain, recurrent thoughts of death or suicide. Here the person will have irritability and always frustrated, or she has the negative feeling, negative attitude towards everything. That is pessimism. And physical ache and pain. Actually, the physical pain and ache will not be present, but she will perceive it as I am having pain, I am having pain. But when he asks, she cannot identify the pain exactly. She will have I have pain, knee pain, joint pain, everything, backache, something like that. She will complain, but it will go off. So when she cannot exactly identify it. And the next is recurrent thoughts of death or suicide. Here, as she has the feeling that I am worthless, helpless, hopeless, and no one is there for me, my body is paining and all. So she started thinking of whether of committing suicide. She has started. These are all the, she may even try to commit the suicide. These are the signs and symptoms of depression. So we'll see at a glance the signs and symptoms. That is persistent feeling of sadness, loss of interest in activities, trouble sleeping or oversleeping, appetite or weight change, fatigue or decreased energy, difficulty thinking clearly or quickly, irritability, frustration or pessimism, physical ache and pains, recurrent thoughts of death and suicide. These are the signs and symptoms of depression. The core symptoms of depression. What are the main core symptoms? The core symptoms of depression are persistent depressed mood, markedly diminished interest in or pleasure from activities. See, I think you can understand it from the video. She has markedly diminished interest. She don't have interest at all. So, see, that's why he has started, when we say something, he will say, please stop everything, don't disturb me, I want to be alone, I want to be silent, something like that. She will respond, showing that she has no interest at all in the things. So I think you all can rewind it or recall some common presentation, sign and symptoms of depression. Can you recall it once? And tell me, what are the common presentations of depression, sign and symptoms of depression? It is very important, okay? We have to know the common presentations and sign and symptoms, the core presentations of depression. Please kindly recall it, and we'll have a small discussion and review regarding this when coming to the class. I'll ask you all guys, so please be careful, be thorough about the common presentations, sign and symptoms, core symptoms of depression. Next, we'll be moving on to the contributing factors of depression. The first one is the biological, second is psychological, third is social. The contributing factors, it results from a complex interaction of social, psychological and biological factors. Adverse life events like unemployment, bereavement, psychological trauma are likely to develop depression. That is the psychological crisis. That is because of unemployment, bereavement, any loss, any grievance, and physical trauma, psychological trauma to the person, which may lead him to develop this feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, worthlessness. These all are also the contributing factors to develop this depression. And in turn, it can lead to person experiencing more stress and dysfunction, such as social isolation, indecisiveness, fatigue, irritability, aches, pain, and thus worsening the person's life situation and depression itself. Because of this unemployment or psychological trauma, it can lead to more stress. The person may experience more stress and dysfunction, and the irritability, and such as she will start slowly isolated from the people around them, and started in difficulty in thinking, indecisiveness. What shall I do? What steps shall I take? And for this, she won't have the idea about that, clear idea about that, fatigue, easily tired, irritability, complaining of an abode will started, and thus it will lead to the social factors. That is one of the social factors. Because of that life events, she is so slowly isolating with, and then thinking more stress and dysfunction will lead to the social causes, that is separated from the social. And next is the biological. How biologically it has contributed to develop the depression. The biological factors may contribute to a person developing vector, such as a person with a family history of depression. If there is a history of depression in the family, it may be transmitted to the next generations. Might be grandma, grandpa, mama. Anyone is having depression, it has a high chance of coming to the next generation. That is the biological factors. So I think you all have known about the three factors, that is biological, psychological and social. Biologically through the hereditary familial history, and psychologically through the adverse life events like unemployment, bereavement, psychological trauma, and the social, like as the person experiences more stress and dysfunction, social isolation, indecisiveness, fatigue, irritability, aches will happen, and when it becomes more worsened, the person life situation will changes, and it leads to depression itself. These are the contributing factors. The most important part of the discussion is coming, that is depression diagnosis symptoms. How we are going to diagnose that the person is having depression. The first is major depressive episode. For the major depressive episode, 5 or more depressive symptoms for more than or equal to 2 weeks. Must have either depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure. Symptom must cause significant distress or impairment, no maniac or hypomanic behavior. That is, we have discussed the common presentations, signs and symptoms. From all that, at least 5 or more depressive symptom has to be present, and it lasts, and if it lasts for more than or equal to 2 weeks, it comes in the major depressive episode, and the person must have either depressed mood or loss of interest. Either one of the two has to be present, and symptoms may cause significant distress or impairment, and there should be no maniac or hypomanic behavior. And then if all these four is present, then, and if this all four criteria is present, then it belongs to the major depressive episode. Next is the minor depressive symptoms or the minor depressive episode. Here in the minor depressive episode, there will be 2 to 4 depressive symptoms for more than or equal to 2 weeks. This part we have to be very clear and we have to be very thorough, because in minor depression is 2 to 4 symptoms and in major depression is 5 depressive symptoms. This is the differentiating part between the minor and major depressive episode. And followed by minor depression, it must have either depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure. Symptom must cause significant distress or impairment. No manic or hypomanic behavior, depressed mood, markedly diminished interest or pleasure in most or all the activities. Significant weight loss or appetite, poor appetite or weight gain. Insomnia or hypersomnia. Psychomotor retardation, fatigue or loss of energy, feeling of worthlessness or excessive or inappropriate guilt, diminished ability to think or concentrate or indecisiveness, recurrent thoughts of death, not just fear of dying, or social ideation, plan or attempt for the suicide. Next is the promoting respect and dignity for people. How to promote, why to promote respect and dignity for people with depression. According to Mental Health Day 2015, dignity and mental health. The World Mental Health Day 2015 is on dignity and mental health. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights affirms that all human beings are born equal in dignity and in the rights. The preamble of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability states that discrimination against any person on the basis of disability is a violation of the inherent dignity and worth of the human person. Dignity refers to an individual's inherent value and worth and is strongly linked to respect, recognition, self-worth, and possibility to make choices. Each person's situations and needs are unique, so it is important to respect the person's wishes while considering the extent to which they are able to make decisions for themselves and whether they are at risk of harming themselves. And equally, we should respect the person's privacy and confidentiality unless we are concerned that the person is at risk of harming themselves or others. It is important to be honest with the person, and we should let them know in advance that she will need to be intervened and she needed professional help. She needs to seek professional help for them if she ever believes that their life may be in danger. So regarding the promoting respect and dignity, we should respect all human beings, as all human beings are born equal in dignity and in rights, and discrimination amongst any person on the basis of the disability is the violation of inherent dignity and the human rights. We have to keep confidential the information of the person until and unless it is at the risk of harming themselves or others, and we should be very honest to them and we should let them know that she need to intervene and she need seeking professional help. Now the last part of today's discussion, that is depression, a public priority. Why depression has come up as a public health priority? Why is it so? Can you guess it? Can you just give some points regarding why depression a public health priority? Because we have discussed so many about the depression. Anyone? Why it is considered as a public health priority? Can anyone put some points regarding why depression has now come up as a public health priority? We have discussed so many things regarding depression, so I hope you all can contribute some points, right? You can learn something. I hope so. Why depression is a public health priority means depression is the fourth largest contributor to disease burden in 1990 and is expected to be the second largest burden by 2020 according to World Health Organization, and it mainly affects the adolescent, young adults. That's why it is very essential to discuss at this stage to the young adolescents what depression is. We have to let them know what depression is, what are the signs and symptoms, and to let them recognize or to help their friends when their friends are having depression. At least if they recognize some symptoms, they can aware that, oh, my friend is having some mental health problems. We'll try to find it out. We'll help them in seeking professional help or any kind of guidance and help to the person. And depression, it has impacts on so many things. We'll discuss, we'll see what are the impacts of these depressions. First is the social impacts. How it has led to many social impacts. We'll see. People with depression are often unable to work, leading to high unemployment because they have social isolation, indecisiveness, inability to take decisions or think clearly. So it results in high levels of unemployment, and the family may lose their household earner. Therefore, the living conditions may deteriorate because of losing the household earner. Because of this causes depression, it worsens the living condition, as the person who is normally earning now not earning means their economic conditions will be deteriorated, and in turn it leads to the worsening conditions of the family. The second is the high prevalence rate. It is estimated that 322 million people worldwide suffer from depression, resulting in a prevalence rate of 4.4% in the general community and accounting for 10 to 20% in the primary care attenders. And there is at least 10% of women having depression who have given birth. This is called postpartum depression. Next is the disability and mortality. It is the major cause of disability and high suicide rates. It is emphasized that by 2030, depression is expected to be among the diseases with the highest burden and with the highest mortality and morbidity rate. The term burden reflects both the mortality and the disability. Mental disorders are extremely disabling, causing many people not to function well in their daily lives, as they can't be normal in their lives, daily activities. They started isolating themselves from the people in the society and started thinking that no one is there for me and I have no value of living, and there is no pleasure or interest in all the activities. Slowly it will lead to the ideation for attempting the suicide. Hence it becomes the highest suicide rates. Most of the suicide caused is because of the depression. And impact on the families. That is on the infant growth, family relationships, child rearing. As there is worsening the living conditions of the family, maybe the bread earner is not earning the income, or the parents is broken family, or the infant has this depression because of the biological causes. It will lead to disturbance in infant growth and the family relationships and the child rearing. If one of the parents is having depression, it will compulsory affect the child rearing process. They cannot take care of the child. And in the family relationship also, if anyone is having these problems, it disrupts the relationship among the people. Thus it has a great impact on the families, and it covers all the aspects, that is to the infant growth, to the relationship, and to the child rearing. Everything in the family covers, and it may also be due to the biological causes or any other causes. Correlation with other physical health condition, that is the non-communicable disease and the communicable disease. How it is correlated with non-communicable diseases, we'll see. Like when we have disease condition like diabetes, hypertension, coronary artery diseases, chronic kidney disease, any non-communicable diseases which is really life-threatening or hazardous if we didn't take proper care, the person who is having that problems will start thinking that why this problem to me, I have these chronic diseases, I have no use, no value of my life. Because of that thoughts thinking process, she will started slowly isolating from the family, from the public, from the friends near and dear ones, which may lead to thinking of many pessimistic thoughts, even lead to suicidal ideations. Thus it is related with the depression. Hence it is said that there is a correlation between the other physical health conditions and the depression. And moving on to the communicable diseases such as TB, then HIV/AIDS, people think that this is they will carry these diseases for lifelong, and they have feel that people will not feel comfortable with her knowing that she has all these problems, and started slowly isolating themselves from the people, thinking that I am very down, I am very low comparing with them, I have no hope for life, and started slowly having less or markedly diminished interest in everything because of the disturbed thought process. Because of their thinking process is disturbed. Disturbance is there in their thinking process. They can't think normally like us. They feel that we are very low. I am very low. I have no use for my life. All this will trigger the chances to develop the depression. In this way, there is high correlation of depression with other physical conditions. I hope till now you all can gain some knowledge. Is it right? Can you get some points from this class regarding depression, the sign and symptoms, common presentations, how to promote the respect and dignity, and their impacts on person's life? Have you all got some points? Thank you class for kind listening, and I hope that you gain something from today's class. Thank you once again.